Sometimes a flame can be utterly extinguished. Sometimes a flame can shrink and waver, but sometimes a flame refuses to go out. It flares up from the faintest ember to illuminate the darkness, to burn in spite of overwhelming odds. These words are taken from American children's author Karen Hess's 2003 book, The Stone Lamp, 8 Stories of Hanukkah Throughout History. This evening marks the 4th night of Hanukkah 2023, and while Hess's immortal words refer specifically to the Jewish Festival of Lights, they take a more deeper and important universal meaning when one considers the incredible events that surround the Hanukkah story and how the holiday itself came to be. In the grand scheme of things, Hanukkah is considered to be a relatively minor Jewish holiday. The events of the Hanukkah story are not included in either the Hebrew Bible or most versions of the Christian Bible. Many people consider the aspects of the story to be more mythic than they are historical, but that does not make them any less important or impactful. It tells the story of the Jews in Jerusalem who were under control of the Greek Seleucid Empire. While the Seleucid king Antiochus III allowed the Jews to continue practicing their religion and worshiping in the temple, his son Antiochus IV was not as tolerant, and in 167 BC, he ordered Judaism outlawed and commanded a statue of Zeus erected in the consecrated temple. Seemingly overnight, the Jewish people, who were already suffering under the occupation of their land and their continued marginalization within Hellenistic society, found their religion outlawed and their culture, the very essence of who they were, in the process of gradually becoming erased overnight. For them, it was the last straw. One of the chief priests, a man by the name of Matityahu, and his 5 sons gathered together what is often described as a ragtag bunch of misfits to take on the king and his forces. They fought against the Greek Seleucid army and their supporters with nothing more than stones, sticks, spears, bows, and arrows almost continuously for 3 years. The majority of fighting being led by Matityahu's youngest son, Yehuda HaMaccabee, commonly known by his Latin name, Judas Maccabeus. Eventually, against the most insurmountable of odds, the revolt was successful and the Greek Seleucids were defeated. Once Judas and his forces had expelled the occupiers, they found that the temple had been ransacked and damaged. After they had rededicated the temple, they found only one container of holy oil to light the sacred flames of the menorah, the candles that were supposed to burn in the temple from evening until morning. They lit the oil that was only supposed to last for 1 day, and it miraculously burned for 7 more days until they were able to press and consecrate more oil for the temple. The endurance of the oil became a symbol and a metaphor for the hope that allowed Judas and his people to overcome a time when they were at their lowest and most uncertain of moments, and to help bring them forward and usher in better times ahead. Lighting a candle, or starting and kindling any flame for that matter, is a deceptively powerful act that we often take for granted. It is in the tiniest of sparks that the most power is contained. And a small glimmer of light can end up becoming a powerful and raging beacon that can evoke all sorts of feelings in people. The poet Mary Oliver wrote of the lights that we often see this holiday season that light is an invitation to happiness, and that happiness, when it's done right, is a kind of holiness, culpable and redemptive. When I was in seminary, there was always a vigorous and long-standing yearly debate between those of us who needed a little Christmas right this very minute and were already wearing Christmas sweaters and singing Christmas songs on November 1st, and a group I like to call the strict Adventists, a group of students who were adamant that nothing having to do with Christmas could be displayed until after the fourth Sunday in Advent. While I understood and appreciated their viewpoint in the liturgical sense, I feel that these strict Adventists missed the mark somewhat on how important the concept of light is for this time of year. As joyous as we want the holidays to be, the reality is that the holidays are not always the happiest or the easiest of times for many of us. Whether it is dealing with the grief of having lost loved ones that we can no longer celebrate with, or being separated and alienated from our families, as many of us in the LGBTQIA+ community are at this time, those of us who are facing economic uncertainty and not knowing if they will be able to have and afford a roof over their heads. It is why many congregations have begun the trend of having Blue Christmas or longest night services around December 21st to acknowledge how challenging the holidays are and offer a sense of pastoral care for their members and friends. Every holiday at this time of year centers around a theme of creating light to overcome the darkness. Because just as lighting a candle can be a beacon of hope, it can also be a protest and a rebellion against other forces at play. The lighting of the candles on the Hanukkah menorah are a rebellion against the oppression that could not keep the Jewish people down and an attempt to create light in the darkest of times. Pagans lit Yule logs during the time of the winter solstice as a rebellion against the darkness and the cold present at midwinter, and served as a beacon to encourage the return of the sun. To go even deeper than that, every ornament that we put on the tree, every piece of tinsel, every Christmas light, everything that shines and glimmers, is a rebellious invitation to not allow the darkness that has the potential to be present to be the narrative of our lives, and to invite as much light as we possibly can into spaces that we occupy. And it is also an invitation to bring that light into our hearts and minds at a time of year when it is desperately needed by so many. Every action has the opportunity to be an act of ministry, if you truly think about it. Whether we act in the service of others or for the sake of others, we get the chance to show our hearts to people and show them that we care deeply for them. In the words of poet Clarissa Pinkola Estes, one of the most calming and powerful actions that you can do is to intervene in a stormy world, is stand up and show your soul. Struggling souls catch light from other souls who are fully lit and willing to show it. Not only do we get to be bringers of light by the candles and beacons that we light, shiny ornaments that we hang, but we get the chance to embody the light that we kindle and to be the light for others. We have the chance this season to quite literally be the light for people and remind them that light will always have the power to overcome the darkest times. This holiday season, as we have hung ornaments on our trees that have brought glimmers of light and hope to our own sanctuary, I invite you to be intentional with the decorations that you put up and place in your own homes, and that you have the chance to bring glimmers of light and hope to the places that you inhabit. And may you remember that every ornament and decoration is a chance to reflect light back into the world and to let the darkness that tries to come over know that it has no power here, that light will always overcome the darkness. And most importantly, may you never forget that you have the opportunity through your actions and your love and your care for others to bare your soul and to intervene in a stormy world. Your beautiful soul can be what helps another struggling soul catch light, a light they have been missing, in order to fully illumine their lives and their hearts once again. Not only can the darkness be dispelled from the world, but it can dispel negative emotions from the hearts of others in an attempt to help them heal. May we all have the opportunity to shine brightly, boldly, just like the glittering decorations that are popping up all around us. May it make a difference for us all. May it ever continue to be so. Blessed be. Amen. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Happy holidays. Thank you all so much.